Live WSO Hangout, Simon Matt. Yes, so I was talking with Michael over the weekend about, I mean, there's certain sort of critical things we want to get done, in terms of helping, revenue flow into Agile Ventures, also in terms of supporting projects voting and things. These two key things that I mentioned. Hey, Michael. Being trying to ultimately support async voting bots supporting multiple votes in parallel. And two, we've got a person talking about wanting to sponsor their co-workers for Agile Ventures premium memberships via PayPal. So, that's more people sponsoring. We'll make sure we have the functionality to support that. So Michael is here. It's sounding like Aresh has said in Async Voter channel, Michael, that he's free for a couple of hours. He seems to actually have quite good Node skills. I mean, you know Aresh, right? No audio from Michael.
Hello?
Hello, Michael.
I said I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, your audio is very faint.
Oh, I don't know. I'm on my iPad right now, so.
Oh, okay. Anyway, but so I was thinking that, like we discussed yesterday, conceivably you and Aresh could pair to finish up this testing stuff for the async voter.
What testing stuff in particular?
Well, in particular, I mean, I've merged that thing in. It's the Yada cucumber thing. Remember that we were talking about? So we can do these quite convoluted tests to check that, someone posts a vote and then it, like, multiple steps. But it's, well, and let me be really explicit by showing you the code, if I can find it. And then Sublime Text 2, find, open recent, reboot computer, and everything's in there. This is async voter. No, it's async bot. So we've currently got this test code that does things like this, right? So it has a vote. It gets, someone does a vote, someone receives it, and then checks that the summary.
Callbacks inside of callbacks.
Right. So this is going to be a real pain to maintain. For, like, I mean, we haven't even got to a test that actually checks multiple people voting on the same story, and it's going to get kind of messy. And then we're trying to get the testing framework in place to get to the point that we can support multiple votes in parallel. So it's going to get even messier. And Aresh added, like an outline of, he's added Yada, which is this, preferred version of Node Cucumber. But so we need to work out, like, okay, let's take our existing kind of integration test and turn it into a, supported in Cucumber.
Okay.
And
I mean,
go on.
Yeah. Do we have any idea how to do that, or?
Well, Aresh set up the Cucumber framework here. So, I mean, I would just be banging my head against it. I sort of imagined that you and Aresh together could actually, have a reasonable chance of getting that to work.
Okay.
But anyway, that's my thought. To sort of split ourselves like that. And Aresh says he's got a couple of hours free now, so you could connect with him and maybe start an async voter hangout.
All right. Bye.
No. Okay, there we go. Coordinated. So, let me get to where we are on. I don't want to go. Why would I go to Yahoo? Goodness me. What am I looking at? Let's go to the waffle board. So. So, I guess, yeah. What's it called? My heuristic for working on these things is check in on if you're going to do something on a project. Okay, so these are outstanding. We've got this allow feature to allow users to delete self.
Yeah, I got to add one short test to it. That'll take me like 10 minutes.
Right.
I can do that myself.
Yeah. Did I almost start doing? I sort of put that in. Right. Yes. And that's sort of a trivial, and then that's ready to pull in.
Yeah, it's just where delete user and then see that it's where
Yeah,
it's
just check that the with deleted thing is also there, so it's
also.
undoable. Yeah. Okay. So that
I do that in RSpec. I was going to make a comment about that, but it doesn't hurt to do it here.
Yeah, I would just, well, you could be doing it. I mean, I think it's an interesting general thing here about, you know, the cucumber tests versus the RSpec. I mean, I tend to,
because I added that feature and I was doing RSpec at the time, so I think I do that kind of exact check in RSpec.
right, and I think that I mean, it's an interesting question there about whether maybe actually it's just not necessary because we've got the RSpec doing the test. I mean, I guess what concerns me about when you have that kind of thing is that, you know, from this level of the feature, right, if someone's reading this, they've got no sense that the ability to undo it is important to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's sort of implicit, and maybe it's just not a big deal and I should completely move on from it. I mean, and maybe what I need is I need a separate feature here. My concern is that almost anything that we have in RSpec ends up kind of being somewhat intangible. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. But trying to infer the behaviors of systems from pure RSpec just seems really hard work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it seems to me that when we've got, you know, small components of the system. I mean, I guess have I got RubyMine? You know, like services and models and so on. And effectively, what we've done with this paranoid thing, I mean, in some ways, the test. So we've got now the user object, and so we've got acts as paranoid. Like the paranoid gem by itself. Sensibly, it has its own test. I mean, it kind of works, although, of course, it has this dependency in our system that we have to have added the appropriate column to our, you know, this by itself is actually not sufficient. Like, unlike if we put a validation on, then we could be using the shoulda matcher to check whether something has a, you know, a validation. We can just do, I wonder if I've got an example of that. Like, if we look at the RSpec for the models, and we look at one of the ones we did recently, like the payment source spec, we can do things like shared examples. It should belong to, yeah, like things like this. This is a shoulda. Have you've seen, you know what I mean when I say a shoulda matcher, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like this, you know, extra
So that
thought.
should be in there, but
yeah. So what we're here,
girl stuff like
I mean, well, the particular thing here is rather than checking that, you know, we're not creating a payment source entity and checking that it has a subscription. We're just, this should belong to thing. It's just, it's simply checking that the components of this. I don't know if it checks through to the database actually, that the appropriate for. I think it does actually. I've seen it fail if you don't have the migration in place. So almost, I mean, there's an argument to say that so I think we've now got our user spec. There is a null user that should be used more frequently. We got, so I think this was like we've got here. This ends up actually being, rather than a unit test, it's kind of an integration test all the way through to the database.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Kind of would be duplicated.
Well, and that's the thing, though. It is kind of.
Maybe it shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's necessarily the case that your Cucumber acceptance test is going to duplicate some of the stuff in your unit tests, right? That's like you can't write an acceptance test that doesn't duplicate something that's tested at the unit test level, right? Or even the integration test level. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. So although, like, in general, we're trying to avoid duplication, I mean, the interesting question is, at least in my mind, about we've got this here. We've got this unit test at this level, that this is soft destroy. Yeah, maybe I'm just completely insane to think that we need any more. Ah, Matt's got away. Woohoo.
Sorry, my Mac is at 1%. I got to plug it in.
Okay, sure. Yeah. All right. Well, while Matt's doing that, I'm going to come back to the board, and just quickly glance down any of these in progress things that do they need an input? I don't think so. We've reviewed them quite a lot recently. So we've got this one here that's on the top of the PayPal here, which is PayPal map payments don't update our model on the server. So that's what I'm going to try and make some progress on now. So that's 1438. So I can go here and go.
Wow, I just got it 0%.
Well done, well done. You're there. So, maybe I finished. So just coming back to that is.
Oh.
So we can say that it's all of this is perfectly sufficient. What we don't have is we don't have a kind of a high level feature that's telling us about this desire for users to be, you know, archived and then brought back. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, you can't actually do it except through the
console. Right, but even so, I mean, that's kind of.
Should that be another ticket to allow?
Well, you know, like I would say in the first instance, being able to do it by the Rails console is just is sufficient. Like we don't need to. I mean, we could be like adding admin interface components to allow people to do that. Like, and I think if this software thing was something where lots of other people were starting website 1 instances and we needed them to be able to access that functionality easily without having to go to the console, then yes. In our current setup, you know, we've got one instance of it. It's a monolith with the admin as the person who uses it. In terms of like prioritizing against what brings in revenue to make Azure Ventures sustainable in the long term, we're not feeling the pain from that now. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Anyway, I'm probably, as usual, explaining things in too much detail. My wife has a big go at me about this, but I'm thinking out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But so the final point is what do we?
Well, I think I guess it's almost, you know, to be honest, it doesn't matter. It could go either way. I think you'd be perfectly entitled to say, you know, we've got this unit test or integration test that seems to cover it. You know, let's merge it in. Either it becomes a refactoring ticket, which is said, let's make it explicit in the feature to say, you know, and the user should be soft deleted. You know,
I think since we do have it and there is no like undelete feature for the user from the outside, I'm kind of thinking I like it the way it is. But.
Okay. Well, I think that's a perfectly valid response, and I think probably then, you know, we should just merge it. What I will do is end up making a ticket that I think this is the thing, because what can easily happen is that one can end up going backwards and forwards on these things, and I've probably already spent too long on it. You know, rather than trying to like wrestle with each other to make one thing other, I think if anybody has a concern about a pull request and it's not addressed, then the thing to do is to just say, you know, I could hit like adjust feature that indicates. Well, I guess I should do it afterwards. Anyway, adjust feature that indicates that user deletion is soft. So I can put here, I'm keen for the cucumber scenarios to highlight that we are doing a soft delete. So I wanted to make a change to the step name and actually check we have soft deleted. Because the concern that I have in terms of this as tests, I guess we've still got the unit test that fails, but it's well, anyway, yeah, not worth moving on. So I think in that case, no, let's merge it in, and
I might even do that if I.
Yeah, and then again, you could pick that up, or someone else can pick that up, or it can be we can kind of we've pushed that off. We've got that moved in. We've cleared out our column there. There we go. And I need to write this all down, and I'm going to write a book about the process of managing all these things. Anyway, and I need to work out how to say less in less time. Anyway. But right, speak slowly. Brain. Sorry, busy weekend. Okay, so what I was going to do here is here we go. 1438. So this is now this is like PayPal payments to update our server. we've got a branch git push origin 1438 like so, and go. And I guess see what I just do is highlight. Can I still see in that pull request that's just closed? It's just to make it so that. Oh, and then what is the one that's just closed? Most sort, most recently updated. There, I had made that comment in there. Let's put that into a refactoring ticket. Which I paste. There we go. How's it like? There we go. And then so what that does is it has the advantage that now it's linked in and somebody else who wants to work on it can find it. Okay. Yeah. Right, so we've got this and I've pushed that onto the server. So it should now automatically pull that, here we go, into this. Now, this setup here, let's go into the PayPal documentation. So basically what it is, we've got a button. We've got a button and we were looking at, we can kind of pass through an item number in order to track like who has been who's upgraded themselves to premium membership using PayPal. So I've got to go into my PayPal buttons in here. And tools, buttons. So this is, we've got this premium button. I want to have a look at the button. So now what it has, we have these advanced features. So we can have it hit the, we basically, what we want it to be able to hit like endpoints on our system so that we get that there. Have we got the, I think I've kind of added that advanced variable. And what it does it, right, no, that seems to be stored on the, that's just like we were looking at that advanced variable is not the thing that we want. I think what we want is we want this item number, and then does it tell us how we can add them? It's all the different variables. Oh, here we go. Anyway, let's go and have a look at. And what we need to do, I think, in the first place is we totally need to spike this. So we have in the view, we have the subscriptions. We've got the premium page. We can actually now delete this old. We've got an old PayPal endpoint that can be deleted. I guess I shouldn't get distracted with that. Like this. Yeah, let's delete the other stuff because it's kind of confusing. And we've got now in the subscriptions controller, we've got this PayPal endpoint, which we shouldn't need anymore. And I guess there, should I create a refactoring ticket to remove the PayPal thing later on? Am I getting distracted? If I kind of undo the deletion of that thing there, no. Let's do git, what is it? Reset head. Yeah, let's not get distracted with that. Let's also remove all these fixtures things. Like so. It's still deleted.
You can do a little cleanup, can't you, in a ticket? That's like the Boy Scout rule.
Yeah, I guess I can. Yeah, it's absolutely. It's like leave the world a little
cleaner
than you found it. I think there's a danger though. Like here, what I'm seeing here is that I'm at the risk of getting myself sidetracked.
Yeah.
To when I need to be focusing on it's the danger is if you start doing the refactoring before you've actually done, because it's red-green refactor, right? We need to see the failure and to get the thing work before we do. And I think that I've seen there's
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is a way of putting that to one side is like remove old PayPal endpoint. We've got, there is a root controller action and view that's no longer needed. And that way I kind of get quickly to because this thing should be relatively straightforward. It could be done by somebody else. This bit in terms of testing, will this functionality even work, can almost only be done, particularly by me at the moment. Yes, they've got examples here of input type in. What I was trying to check and was getting off task on is looking at this file here. So we've got this ability to put hidden variables into here, and I think, yeah, we got it to up to, like, this thing in here called name, like item name somewhere.
So you're gonna pass through the name, the ID of the person who's paying?
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think Michael and I started looking on this on Friday, and the issue that we have slightly is that we don't actually require people to be logged in the first instance for this.
Oh, so how are you going to get?
Well, I mean that's a separate thing about maybe we should
require
them to be logged in. I guess what I want to do first, and Abby Grimm is probably going to spin in his, well, he's not dead yet, obviously. He's going to spin retrospectively. Well, I guess if all time is one, at the point at which he is, unfortunately passes away, he will be spinning in his grave, because this thing is like using this try here. I mean, the funny thing is I know that the way current user works with devise is it's not going to give me a nice nil object that would return. That's another issue. Put that to the side. So I'm going to try and get the ID from from here, and that should generate for me, like, if I boom 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 boom. So I've rebooted my computer. So let's get B Rails S. We'll do that around 3000, so I can log in, get the local Puma server working, and it takes a long time to load up. Actually, it's one of the absolute joys of working with Node is it just all loads so fast. So here I am, like, not logged in. We've now got it's a subscription controller. Will take me to this page, and we should see both these two things. And then I can come onto here. And so this, we previously, by changing item name, we managed to change this. So we don't see that in here. And that was what I think where we got to was, like, there's how do we do testing? So I think there is a section here on test your payment buttons. And so we need to create sandbox text account. This is right. This is the key thing. This is what needs to get done. So navigate to the PayPal developer dashboard and log in. We logged in? No. Log in. Okay. We're sorry. So something went wrong while getting your credentials. I'll just move that. I guess I haven't generated any yet. Generate credential. What is it telling us to do? Under Sandbox, click Accounts. Okay, clicking Accounts. Aha. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, this is where create 2 test accounts. It looks like it's actually got 2 test accounts for me automatically. One for business, one personal. Okay. So then create test buttons in the PayPal Sandbox. Use your new test seller credentials to log into PayPal Sandbox. Yeah, I'm not. It's given me these 2. It's got, like, already here. I don't remember creating them before. Want to link existing Sandbox account to your developer account? Click here and provide. I don't think. Use your test.
Log into the PayPal Sandbox.
Have I? There's like a. It seems like I've got two test accounts. Are they? Maybe they're not test accounts. I don't. Seems like it might want to be.
Is one of them the seller and one's the buyer?
Well, so here it's saying, create these two test accounts, a business account for test seller and a personal account. We've got a business and a personal, but I wonder if these are actually, I don't know if I can use these or if I have to create new ones that specifically say test on them. But if this is sandbox text accounts, then it seems like I've got two that I can use.
Yeah,
so,
that looks like them.
So then I guess I have to log into the PayPal sandbox. Log in there. Right. Okay. So it looks like
seller ID.
So
Sam. Yeah.
Facilitator, and then yeah. I mean, it seems like these. I don't know if I got a profile here and I'm on the screen. I'm looking to see. Okay. So it's got like a. Okay, I've found like a place that I can
reset
the password. Yeah, I'm just trying to open my password manager to create a new password for that. So this is PayPal sandbox. Generate new passwords. Okay, save that. Okay. PayPal sandbox. So I'm just going to save and change the. So this is the SAM facilitator. Okay, so I've just changed the password there on the other screen, and then if I'm very lucky. Okay, right. Welcome, test facilitator. Okay, so we're in the test facilitator thing.
Now
create your and then it says create your payment buttons using the create a PayPal payment button page in the sandbox. Okay, which is here. I'm in the sandbox, products and services, auction tools, merchant services. Oh, that's not what I want, is it? Test site, test store. So somewhere else I've got, this is the button. So then I get tools and I can go to buttons but in this one, PayPal sandbox. Merchant services. So, and it says click tools at the top of the page, but we don't have tools at the top of the page. It's got auction tools. Test sites. You have requested an outdated version of PayPal. Seems like something has gone like
That's some to-dos there. I don't know if you have to do those.
Really? Some to-dos.
On the right. Accept mandate agreement, lift your account.
Well, okay.
Maybe those are for real accounts.
Yeah, I don't know that they are. Those look like.
Doesn't say you have to do that.
No. I mean, direct debit instructions. Lift your account limits. It says status verified.
My business setup.
Well spotted. Oh, okay. My business set up. Account setup. Weird.
On your website? No. Yeah, that's.
Huh. There's no mention of buttons in any of this, is there?
Option B.
Well, it's kind of.
Oh, it's going down a wormhole.
Yeah, I mean, I see. This is if they had a nice. What's the like the? We basically seem to be missing this bar, which would have the tools on it. If we go to PayPal buttons, I'm just tempted to look at. So if that is the URL for button management, maybe where we need to be is just in the sandbox for the button management. There we go. Ah, haha.
Ah.
Yeah. So then we want to create new button. So this is in the sandbox. So okay. So this is. I just want to. This is a subscription. And then we do premium in here, and yeah. So to make this identical to the existing one. Okay, so and we don't need, in principle, we don't need that, but well, we could have like a URL. So ideally, what this is going to be do agileventures.org/subscriptions. I don't know if this is the right endpoint to have ultimately, but we'll pop that in there and create the button. Why not? Oh no, we don't need the postal address. Go back to this button. I'm thinking about getting postal addresses to send everybody Christmas cards, but anyway. Okay. Yep. Track inventory profit. I don't know what that is. Okay, so we've got this premium subscription button type. It looks like subscribe. We don't need customized text or appearance. Display. No, we don't need those logos. Okay. Have PayPal create user deposit for customers? I don't think so. Okay. All right. So that's done. All right. So now we've got here it's the same thing, but we've got a okay. We've got an alternate button type, which looks approximately identical, and the key difference. Okay, what is it? This is pointing to sandbox.paypal rather than PayPal objects. So I guess what I'm tempted to. It's funny. So this is we've got a test thing here. We've kind of got a thing where we want to pull in a different element depending upon whether we were in test mode or not. I guess I'm tempted, before we go down the route of adding partials or what have you, I'm tempted to just see if we can get the round trip of what we want to happen. So if I now reload this subscribe should take us to the sandbox. Okay, there we go. All right, but I've got it. Yep. Okay, and then right, you have to be logged in with a PayPal account. So I guess then I've got this buyer account that was also created. I've also just realized that what we will want is, rather than hitting the oh no, I've now lost the right thing. What was I? This is, yeah, that rather than hitting the main server in the very first instance, we want to hit the local. You're not logged in. That doesn't seem good. Gah. So we need Sam.
Buyer. Oh no.
But I think here, what I'm just thinking is, I want to. Oh, good grief. Can I get that? I'm just put the sandbox URL. I'm going to edit. I'm just setting up the last pass here to remember the username and password for. Well, I had it remembering the password already, and I just needed it to. That's funny. Log that out. Really? Some of your information is not correct. Sam facilitator at agileVentures.org. Okay. And spelled that correctly.
Oh, you forgot a T. Facility.
Okay, yeah. Facilitator. Excellent, thank you. Okay. Because I'm just thinking we don't want to hit the actual excuse me, Agile Ventures main websites in the like these. Okay, so and then here, so we still don't have, I mean, they've obviously got a little bit of a problem there about accessing the tools. And so I'm having to infer the URL from there. We could submit a bug report to PayPal. Their sandbox doesn't do it. So this premium account here, so this is the test one, so this shouldn't hit. So what we should have here is that this just in the, for our test purposes now, this should hit here. Like so. Okay. Yeah. Like so. Okay. Now, so that stores that against the button. I don't think anything else in there will change. I guess I'll just on the off chance, it should be the same. So that's there. So now we should be able to go here, reload. Don't necessarily need to reload that. We'll just kill that there. That will hit here. So now I need to log in with this Sam buyer account. And I guess here I'll have to create a separate. I don't know what it's obviously like just initialize them with null passwords or just passwords that I don't know. So I go back to last pass. I now need to add. Can I duplicate an existing? Let's just copy password launch. No, I'll need to add a new one, which is this is also PayPal sandbox, but this is now buyer. And the username, it's a sam-buyer at agileventures.org, and then generate the password for me. Use that password. Okay. And the URL, I guess, is here. I'll save that. That's the buyer. Copy the password. Put that password in there. And then just hit return. Okay. So Sam. I haven't updated the password on the PayPal. Okay. So there's a password updated successfully. Here, not giving me the option of Sam buyer. I want Sam buyer, paste in the new password. I hate passwords so much. There must be a better way. The thumbprint stuff on the iPhone, I'm like, whew, I quite like actually. Okay, so then now that's thinking about logging in as Sam buyer. I think it's saying loading the page. Yes. Okay. Right. So now we have this. I guess what we, of course, what I didn't do is I didn't add this. So anyway, we're logged in with that. The critical part of the test is having this in place. Even if it comes back as nil, I should probably, maybe sensibly, I just put this in as a number like 123. And then we reload this page, and that one I don't need anymore. Open it again. So again, you're still not going to give me the thing. I'm going to have to do. Yeah, I would have thought there, having logged in once, it would allow me to just. It would stay logged in, but anyway. Oh, and there is a login button there. Okay. Right. So this is all in the sandbox. I'm agreeing. It's thinking about it. Okay, so I thought to purchase was successful. I thought it would. I guess they've now got an option. They can click return to test facilitators test. Okay. And what we it hit the it hit the point there. Okay. And it's coming in with an auth, but I'm not seeing that ID coming in like 1, 2, 3 that we just set. Okay. It's also interesting to me there that it doesn't automatically, like, it gets to this page. I am certain that many people will fail to click this very unobtrusive button. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're sort of hoping that once the purchase is successful, that it would automatically redirect to our web page.
Yeah,
if it's going to go on.
Maybe it will. Maybe this is just for testing.
Maybe.
I can't imagine. That's the way it usually works.
Maybe.
And then it goes right back to the page.
Yeah. That's certainly that's the optimistic view of it. We didn't get, so we're now set up here. So I thought that this item name, item number, what have we put in here? I've got item underscore number in there. Current length 127.
I mean, just to come back to this real quick, why do you need to know who paid? Like,
well,
could it be anybody that pays for somebody and not even a member?
Yes, it could. And so we're not required. Well, what we will need to do is, I mean, I'm certainly keen to keep it so that you don't have to have an Agile Ventures account in order to pay, because, you know, like I want to put the fewest number of barriers in there. However, if you're paying, we need to know who you're paying for. So either you'll be paying for yourself,
right,
or you'll be paying for somebody else. But so at the moment, we only support PayPal paying for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's fairly clear if somebody, you know, when they do the PayPal payment, we get their name and their email address, and we can match that with, oh yes, that's you in the thing, and we can sort of sort it out, you know, with a bit of manual work. If we want to enable them being able to sponsor somebody else, then we need to be able to, like, also pass over the ID of the person that they're sponsoring.
Okay, I got it. I didn't know there was a manual part there. Okay.
I mean, we would like to ultimately automate it. Like if they are logged in and they do just like happen to want to pay for their own premium through PayPal, then I'd like to automate, you know, them being invited to the Slack instance. I'd like to automate them having premium attached to their name on the site and so on, all those things. But so that would allow that. But yeah, so this being able to pass something across. But so this is individual item variables.
Yeah, I get
These
it.
Why is this not working?
I'll do
So-
some searching too while you're looking.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Just it seems to be. Superficially, that's the see the pass through variables. So we've got these. The following are pass-through variables. Oh, it seems to have or item number underscore X. Huh. Oh, and it says to set the return URL for a transaction, include the return variable, desired currency, using HTML variables with saved payment buttons. Oh. Okay. I think maybe what we need to do is switch from a button to a form.
Found a Stack Overflow that seems to say you can just add a hidden input type and read it afterwards.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through PayPal necessarily.
I mean, there's an API as well. There's a lot of different options. I think what I'm reading here is it's saying that we can't use HTML variables with saved payment buttons. So it's sort of, I guess we've got a thing here is like creating a payment button. It looks like we maybe want to write our own HTML that doesn't have like a saved element. So this is subscribe, copy and paste button code. Here we go. When you click create button on the, I think we maybe, it's funny. So it's almost like the problem is what we want to avoid the button being hosted, because I think what it's doing is that the hosted button ID, like this kind of like overrides all the other variables. But what we want, I think, is that if we go back to my saved buttons, this is like create a PayPal payment button. All of these ones are going to have, I think it's going to save stuff on the server that's going to overwrite what we need. Oh my goodness. Suddenly I've gone into like, I've got a totally new view of the sandbox.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Selling tools. Weird. This is kind of confusing. Okay.
I'm looking on Stack Overflow and it says if you use something about if you use item underscore number, that passes through.
Yeah, that's what we've used.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think it hasn't worked because I mean there's in their documentation there's a note to say you can't use those custom form variables with a saved button. So I think what we need to do is, rather than, I mean, the funny thing is like we've got this process for creating buttons, right? So like if we say create new button, I mean this is in the live system.
Can I see the code again?
Well, the thing here is, like, what we've done is we've got this hosted button ID, and so this ID is matching to some set of variables that we've specified and then hosted as a button. But basically, so what we need to do is we need to remove this hosted button. I mean, what I'm hoping is that I think what we need to do is remove the hosted ID and specify all aspects of the button and form ourselves. What I was just trying to see was, do they have some mechanism for helping us create that? And then suddenly, like, going backwards in the flow here, I've got like a completely different. I mean, I guess what I have to do again is go to the if I go to my saved buttons. I mean, this is button management. If I just go to the yeah. So button management here is just taking me straight to this. This has got this. It's funny because we've got HTML buttons, integration guide. Right, here we go. PayPal HTML buttons. Yeah, custom integration, custom shopping code. Choose the right payment button based on your business requirements. Right, so that's just like create the button. Sample HTML button code. That's what we want.
Yeah, you'd want to do
sample code. But here we go. This is what we need.
Yeah, I found an example of somebody doing this.
Yeah. This sample HTML code illustrates a basic subscribe button with these features. Right. Okay, with a trial period, which is what we need. Not limiting billing zones, product options. Okay. So this would be the form for a good grief. It's going to be like for the live system. So identify your business so that you can collect the payments. So I guess that's going to be like Sam Facilitator ventures.org. And then subscribe button. Identify the subscription. Okay. So this is going to be premium. And then we're going to have the item number be, let's say 123 there. Set the terms of the first trial period. Currency code, GBP. What does this mean? A1, P1, T1. I guess zero currency for 7 days. Okay. We're not going to have a second trial period. And then the regular subscription is 10. That's right. Yeah, well, 10. But it should go, it's going to finish after a year. But set recurring pays until cancelled. Limited billing cycles. Product options. Drop down. Okay. That's kind of, it feels like it's setting there up for like a 1 year subscription, but well, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, that's sort of what we want. But what we, okay, so this would be one. I guess I'll take a copy of that. Just do that somewhere to one side. And then, so in order for this to hit the sandbox, I need to change that to be this. That's top different from blank. Okay. And then I guess just for consistency, we'll move these elements to that. Okay, so then we'll get rid of that. Okay, so then, but also what we want as well is we want it where it comes back through. So that sample button code, HTML reference. Oh gosh. We want to be able to set the. I think I've got the link in here. I want to be able to set. We've got things to do with the URLs. The URL to which PayPal posts information about the payment in the form of instant payment notification messages. The URL that buyers go to when they click continue shopping on the PayPal shopping cart page. Image URL. Right. The return, there you go. The URL to which PayPal redirects buyers' browser after they complete their payments. For example, specify you thank you for your payment. Default, PayPal redirects the browser to a PayPal page. So we need a hidden variable of return in there. What's this? And we've also got return method. The form method uses send data to the URL specified by the. So it can be get or post or what have you. Okay. Sets the text, cancel return. Okay, so we've got return and cancel return. So we need a hidden return. So this should be here. We can just do subscriptions. And if I just deleted that endpoint in our earlier refactoring, we couldn't have used it. So it's sort of handy to have it there. Anyway. So that takes us to here now. We've got the subscribe button. Is this doing what I think it's doing? Let's inspect this. There's the form. So it's going to the sandbox. It's got all of these things in. Okay. So I'm going to click that. Opens in a new window. Okay. So premium. Right. Test store. So we're now Sam buyer.
That looks good.
So I'll get the password for that. Log in there. Oh right, I've got. Oh, it's right. Oh, this is like doing it yearly rather than monthly. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, and this. All right, it's asking for the delivery address. Right. So if I'll just click agree there. Right. And okay, so it's come in here. Now the interesting thing, see that it still hasn't. It's given us this auth, but it hasn't given us the ID. None of the variables have come through. I think.
Yeah,
right.
there's.
Someone talking about it on Stack Overflow.
Well, no, I'm looking at PayPal. Are you using the Express checkout? Is that what you're doing, an Express checkout?
No, what we're doing is we're doing a custom HTML button.
Okay, but I'm following the directions on the Express.
I mean, Express checkout is something else, and maybe we should be using that. I mean, that's talking about like there's a REST integration guide.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, this is that. I mean, maybe we should use this. This is like, it keeps it local to your website, and I mean, this is the kind of thing that we've got with Stripe already in the system, which you've used. And maybe, I mean, I'm sort of trying to save time here by seeing if we can just get the HTML button to work. But maybe if it doesn't work, I mean, it's interesting. They've got like
it looks like now we have to familiarize ourselves with PayPal's instant payment notification system, IPN. Because then you should be getting a message back, an IPN message with like whether or not it not completed, invalid email.
Right, but is that specific to the express checkout?
No, I think this is specific to what you're doing.
Well, maybe there was also in this the list of options. There's like a notify URL that. Yeah, I mean, I guess which I could be setting as well. I mean, my assumption had been like with these items, like item number, that these pass through variable. The value specified is passed back to you upon payment completion. But maybe it doesn't come back. Shopping URL, image URL. I mean, maybe this return URL, that's not the one that it's going to send that to. So we've got a callback URL for your instant update callback server.
I mean, you may need to look in the post is going to return some stuff, it says. So you might.
Do you want to post me the link to what you're looking at? Or share your screen?
No, I'm saying that if you go do that, hit that button again, and then inspect, go to the network tab and inspect the return from the post. I think you'll see that.
Oh, well, right. I assume it is a redirect. I don't think you can redirect to a post, though. I assume that it was a get statement. You might be. You might be right. I mean, we were here.
At least in this example, I'm saying, but it's all in a PHP, so that's.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to see. I'm going to see the network thing there. I mean, I can go back here, right? And I've got the network tab open, so I can try. I mean, the return to test facilitators test store. I mean, that's. Maybe I think that's just a redirection. If we look at the, like this was it was a get request.
Oh.
But I mean that button, it may be that it's.
I don't think that button's going to be there in the real one, but.
Well, that we can.
Doesn't help us much.
But it seems like it's not implausible that this notify URL. Like that's one of the other URLs that's specified here, and it says the URL to which PayPal posts information about the payment in the form of instant payment notification messages. So, I mean, the funny thing is, maybe it had, well, the other, okay, hold on. URL, shopping URL, the URL of the page on the merchant website that buyers go to when they click the continue shopping. That seems irrelevant. Image URL, return. So, we've specified this, and it says like, thank you for your payment page. It's also got, it is all shopping. Okay, it looks like here, maybe we have to set this RM variable to make it be a post. We've got RM, and then we've got set that to value to 2, like that. And okay, so we save that. We go back over here. We reload this page. Okay, so then we click on that one. So now we have to get the password again for this guy. We say login there. There's nothing 10 for each month. That's correct. Right, it's still asking for the address, which I don't want it to. We agree to that. Okay, it still ends up in this thing. So test facilitated store. Okay, all right. So actually, it did do the post here, and yeah, we get the item number in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So that's right. We made some progress there. What I don't want is it requiring the person's address. I guess it doesn't need to require the person's address. So if we go back to the thing, is there something to do with an address variable, US address management, address override? I mean, there's a way. Okay, so no shipping. I think that's it. No shipping 1. Okay. So we need another one, which is like no shipping 1. Okay. So now what we would need to change to receive that incoming route in the config of our routes.rb. So at the moment we've got this PayPal, which we don't actually need anymore. I'm also a bit suspicious of a custom endpoint here. I wonder if what we're really doing here is we are actually creating a subscription. So if we think about it from a resource point of view, ultimately what we want is that this should be coming into the create system, and we want to adjust the create method. At the moment, this specifically creates, a Stripe user on the back end. Mm-hmm. So what we want to be able to do is handle that situation where where it's not a Stripe thing coming in, and it's in fact a PayPal one. I wonder if they should have, maybe simpler if they had separate endpoints, but anyway. But just for the purposes of debugging and sorting here, we can change this to a post. Come back over here, reload that, I have saved. Premium there. Okay. Do that again. Right. God, it's annoying that I have to, or at least copy and paste in the password every time. Yeah, so here, so it doesn't haven't asked for the address. Okay. Interesting. So it's not letting us hit that point because of an invalid token. And I guess it's the fact that it's passing back this auth, and I wonder if that's colliding with the Rails auth thing, like it's oh dear, what pain. Anyway, we're certainly getting all of the data that we need.
Yeah,
plenty of data. Okay. I wonder if anybody else is.
When did it start giving this error? What did you change?
I just changed it so that we actually had a post endpoint.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that I guess we've got like, I think if we wanted to like verify the authenticity, we would in principle have to be like passing an authenticity token from our Rails thing and then somehow getting PayPal to pass it back. But I think we can't easily do that. Can I do that? Oh, and that's probably hit on the buy bug now. It has, yes. And we can see the params there. So we can, in particular, we can get the item number out. Oops. Yeah. Okay. So, and then that lands on this page, which ultimately could say, you know, thank you for subscribing and so on. Okay. Well, I think what we've critically done there was we've done the round trip. So we can see that we can have a button that we sort of put together ourselves, and in principle, I mean, we've also got like, I assume that this will work if we switch it over to live PayPal endpoints. And oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, you're I think optimistically saying that you think that if for when people go to this thing that it will automatically redirect at the end. I might feel a little pessimistic about that, but we will. I mean, it's interesting that they've also got that notify URL. I guess. So I did put in here the notify URL as well. It's not clear if we may not want that in there. It's fairly clear that it does do this post when I click on this link, this button, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it comes back in here, and when I change this to a 2, it made it do a post. So I guess it's sort of a fairly big thing, because if people are doing sponsorship and they're paying, and then and then they happen to, I mean, if it was the case that they do have to click this extra button, then I might not get the information about who they've tried to sponsor. You might be right that it does automatically redirect, but that it's the express thing that would give us more control of that. I think that sort of express experience. So maybe we need to do the express integration, but I'm probably in the short term, I would be tempted to try and make this form approach work. And then you might be right that it's requiring the click through because it's the test server, but I'm skeptical. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could change it to 2 pennies and sponsor somebody temporarily, but
Not sure I understand.
can you actually make a payment, not use the sandbox?
Oh, well, it's got a 7-day free trial, so yeah, I can actually run through the whole thing and you know, without doing any payment and see if it works. Yes, it's true. That's clearly the thing to do. I mean, it's sort of, yeah. I guess the question there is, yes, well, sensibly before committing to this approach, probably the thing to do is to run a test in the live system and see what the user experience is like. Yeah. I'm just going in here and I'm just adding elements to let me know what these things are. Do a post. So we haven't got URL to return them to if they cancel. I'm not even sure if this is desirable. Okay. Well, I guess for backup's sake, I should push that into the branch. This is spiking the round trip for data to come back from successful purchase. Yeah, I think I might need to break for lunch now. I mean, this was sort of this, spiking round trip thing. I hope it was of some interest, or at least mildly diverting for you. You're muted at the moment if you're trying to say anything. Are you having trouble unmuting yourself? Hey.
Oh yeah, sorry, I got the cleaning person here.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, I was saying I think I probably need to break for lunch now. I hope that was of some interest.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could help a little bit, but you've got the test IDs, so.
Yeah, well, I think what I'm hoping to move this, what I imagine going forward is that if we create like like once we've got it all kind of working, I can kind of set it so that like in test mode, it pulls this in and we can actually write a whole sort of tested thing for it. Yeah, I don't know if the thing to do is to, maybe it will be better to go with the express checkout, but I think your suggestion is, yeah, the clear next step should be,
So you mean put that address in the config file or something, and
yeah, I mean, so what I'll do is I'll set
on test you're going against.
Yeah, like there's clearly, but basically, if we want to serve the form like in production mode and development, no, in production mode we want to put this in, and then in development mode we want to put, and test mode we want to put this in. So we want to like add. I mean, I would probably be more than necessarily a config file, because I feel like more than an environment variable, but I'd be tempted to make a helper for the subscriptions helper, which basically asked for like the PayPal URL, and then the PayPal URL switched on whether it's in production or development or test mode, and sticks the appropriate thing in, and then we could like write tests that are jumping in and doing one thing or another. I mean, they're kind of, it's not going to be a full round trip test, and I think unless we move to the express checkout. But yeah, so the clearly the next step is try this button with live payment and see user experience or UX. Particularly, does user have to click button, or are they automatically redirected? Yeah, that's so we'll see. There might be time to work on that later on. I'm going to break for an hour now, but thanks for your input and help. Having your eyes on it as well was very handy.
If you want to work on, if you want me to look over your shoulder again.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll be coming back on in about an hour and maybe doing some more. And yeah, if you're around, we could carry on looking at this and try and make a bit more progress. But yeah,
great.
Good stuff. All right. Cool. Good stuff, Matt. Thanks for your help.
Thanks.
Bye for now. Cheers.
Cheers.